got the miniature horses coming in here first. Joe Glick is here with me. He's been our breed presentation coordinator, and we're going to do this together. I'm going to talk just a little bit about the miniature horses as they come in here. Of course, they are a breed that is characterized by their small size, miniature physical characteristics, and so on. Although such horses, they do have the appearance of small horses. They are genetically, of course, more similar to pony breeds, really. And they have many various colors and coat patterns. They originated in Europe, actually, where there's written documentation from the late 18th century. That would be late 1700s. And in the first half of the 20th century, they were bred in England by a person named Lady Estella Mary Hope and her sister Lady Dorothea. They're quite hardy, these little horses. Often live longer than is typical even for some full-sized horses of some breeds, and they can live as long as 25 to 30 years. Aren't they cute? Commonly kept as companion animals, sporting events sometimes, such as driving or other competitive horse show events. And a few have even been trained as guide horses for blind people. There's something for you to keep in mind. What you see again here is young horsemanship, youth horsemanship, except for that guy up there on that little wagon there driving those little black ones in the back there. That's Stephen Burkholder. He's been around for a long time too, and he is one good horseman. He's trained a lot of people to work with horses over the years at his farm up in Fleetwood, and he's very, very dedicated to horses of all kinds, as you can see. I know him as a Percheron guy. But here he is with these nice 4 little ponies, and he's quite the experienced horseman. Okay, I don't know. Can we applaud for these guys? What do you think? We can try. Let's try it. See what happens. Thank you, guys. We're gonna. Oh, they like it, I think. Here. Okay. Good. Thank you to all you people for sticking around for this presentation to see. Oh, look what we have here. These are Shetlands, right? Shetland ponies? I had a Shetland pony. That Shetland pony taught me everything I know about horsemanship when I was a kid. Didn't have many other people to teach me, but that pony taught me a lot. They came from Scotland, these ponies. People who lived on the islands later crossed the native stock with ponies imported by Norse settlers. It was a harsh climate, scarce food, and of course they developed into extremely hardy animals, and they are tough little things. First used for pulling carts and carrying peat, seawood, plowing the land even. Then with the Industrial Revolution coming along, there was an increased need for coal in the mid-19th century, mid-1800s, and thousands of Shetland ponies traveled to mainland Britain to be pit ponies, working underground, hauling coal, often for their entire lives. Coal mines in the eastern United States also imported some of these animals, and the last pony mine was closed in 1971. I did not know that. That's great. Joe put this together for us. Shetland Pony Stud Book Society is a breed society for the traditional Shetland throughout the world. Started in 1890, about the time of the Industrial Revolution went underway. And they were taught to maintain purity and encourage high-quality animals, and that's the breed association task of all the breeds, actually. And then in 1957, the Shetland Islands Premium Stallion Scheme was formed to subsidize high-quality registered stallions to improve the breeding stock of these little ponies. Shetland ponies, what you got in there. Look at that little foal. Hackney Pony now. There are Hackney horses and Hackney ponies. The Hackney Pony was originally developed by Christopher Wilson. He used Sir George, a Hackney stallion, foaled in 1866 to breed with Bell ponies. And then interbred the offspring to make a fixed type of pony that he wanted. He wanted not a miniature horse, but rather a true pony with such characteristics as a miniature horse. The extracting the large trot and other characteristics of the Hackney horse and applying them to the true type of pony, he was successful in creating the form. And you'll see these ponies as they go. A lot of knee action. Some of these aren't quite as high as some, but they're very attractive as they go. Very proud-looking little things. The breed was used in Great Britain as carriage horses, and he also imported to the United States. They're very stylish. Derived during the late 19th and early 20th century, when automobiles were still uncommon. They're not allowed to be more than 14 two hands, and usually range between 12 and 14 hands. And they should have true pony characteristics in order to be registered, and should not be a scaled-down version of the Hackney horse. So those are Hackney ponies in there, and you'll see as the longer they go, the more action you see. We have some people here from the Netherlands, very well acquainted with Friesland. It's a province or a state in the Netherlands where these horses served as medieval war horses and work horses. They're famous for their luxurious manes, tail and forelock, and the Friesen. They have an expressive face, high set neck, and powerful legs and hindquarters. These horses have become popular in our country in the last 5 to 10 years. Noted for their gentle natures, Friesens are willing, active, and energetic horses that are well suited for the variety of disciplines from Western pleasure to driving, dressage, and all that. Sometimes they are crossed, actually quite often, with other horse breeds to add size and style. The crosses may also acquire the calm disposition, gentle temperament from the Friesian, while acquiring stamina and endurance from other breeds like the standardbreds or Morgans, and that's a fairly common practice to cross these horses like that. And Friesian paint crosses are becoming popular for adding color and flash to an otherwise solid black horse. This is a nice Friesian. Is this a cross? Yeah, this is a cross. This is a Friesian Hackney, actually, Joe just told me. So you can see a little more action in the knees and the way the horse carries him or herself. Puts on a little style there. So thank you. Thank you to James Stoltzfus of Christiana for bringing his Frisian Cross in here this evening. And let's give him a nice round of applause as he exits the ring. And next we have Halflinger. This is a breed that became very popular in the U.S. in the last 20 years, within the last 20 or 30, 25 years. And this breed was developed in the country of Austria and in northern Italy during the late 19th century. They're relatively small, always chestnut or sorrel with flaxen manes and tail, have distinctive gaits described energetic but smooth, well-muscled, elegant. They were developed to use in mountainous terrain, and they're also known for their hardiness. Presently, their conformation and appearance are the result of infusions of bloodlines actually from the Arabian horses and various European breeds into the original native Tyrolean ponies. There's a foundation sire. He's number 249 Foley, born in 1874. And it was in 1904 when the first breeders' cooperatives were formed. And all Halflingers can trace their lineage back to this Foley horse through one of 7 bloodlines. Height of the breed has increased since the end of World War II when it stood an average of 13.3 hands. That's 55 inches. And today the desired height is between 13.2 and 15 hands, or 54 and 60 inches. So here we have two teams of Halflingers. Again, a very popular breed. So thank you. Thank you to the Halflinger teams for coming out. And let's give them a nice round of applause as they leave. Got the Appaloosa out there. This is interesting. This is an American horse breed best known for color spotted for their coat pattern. There's a wide range of body types within this breed, of course, stemming from the influence. Again, this is the influence of multiple breeds of horses throughout its history. This is a color breed again. Each horse's color pattern is genetically the result of various spotting patterns overlaid on the top of several recognized base coat colors. Now, this horse looks a little bit more like a quarter horse. And that's the kind I've always favored if we're going to go with Appaloosas. In North America, the Nez Perce people of what is today the United States Pacific Northwest developed the original American breed. Settlers once referred to these spotted horses as the Palouse horse. That's interesting, possibly after the Palouse River, of course, which ran through the heart of Nez Perce country. Gradually, the name evolved to Appaloosa. They are usually 950 to 1,250 pounds, and their height's 14 to 16 hands, which is 56 to 64 inches. Here comes the Morgan. This goes back. They go back to a single foundation sire. I'm sure a lot of you know that. His name was Figure. If you ever read the book, Justin Morgan Had a Horse, it's pretty accurate to the history of the breed. And he was born in West Springfield, Massachusetts, 1789. 1792, given to a man named Justin Morgan in as a debt payment. It's a great story. Horse later became to be identified by the name of this particular owner, Morgan, Justin Morgan horse. And Figure, the horse, it's thought that he was about 14 hands, which is 56 inches, and weighed about 1,000 pounds. He was known for his prepotency, which means he passed on his characteristics, his distinctive looks, conformation, temper, athleticism, but his exact pedigree is unknown. Morgan breed is known for its versatility, and he was a very versatile horse. I remember reading a story about him in which he won a lot of races, and then the next day they would take him out to work in the field. Versatility and used for a number of English and Western events. They've been successfully shown, many disciplines, dressage, show jumping, and Western pleasure, and so on. Used as stock horses, pleasure riding and driving, and they're frequently seen in driving competitions, including combined driving and carriage driving. If you know anything about the Morgans, the Morgan breeders talk about the old style and the new style. And I know that there's our announcer in the field today, Stephen Bontrager. He's a big Morgan enthusiast, and he likes to use his Morgans in the hayfield very successfully. So these are very versatile horses, and what a pair that is! Wow. Thank you. That's a nice hand. Now we're ready for the Frisian, I believe. A breed that's become popular here in the U.S. Probably not more than 20 years ago or so. And they originated in that country of Friesland again, province in the Netherlands, and they served as medieval and war horses and workhorses. And we talked about the luxurious manes and tails before, and this one has it, doesn't he? Look at that. The ones we had in here, I believe, before were crosses. This is a Frisian. This is a straight Frisian horse, willing, active, energetic, and so on. Although the conformation of the breed does resemble that of a light draft horse, Frisians are graceful and nimble for their size. Believed that during the Middle Ages, ancestors of the Frisian horses were in great demand as war horses throughout continental Europe. Through the early Middle Ages and the high Middle Ages, their size enabled them to carry a knight in armor. And in the late Middle Ages, heavier draft type animals were needed. And that's always where we're at least told our draft horses originated from. Though the breed nearly became extinct on more than one occasion, the modern-day Frisian horse is growing in numbers and popularity, used in both harness and under saddle. Well, I think most of you know about the mules, and of course they're a cross between the donkey and the horse, and they're very interesting animals. I haven't had a lot of experience with mules, but I've learned to appreciate them more as the more that I've been around them, I would say. And of course they're different because they got a different number of chromosomes. They can't reproduce, and they're hybrids. They were what we call hybrids. They vary widely in size. This is a pair of Percheron mules, I believe, come down here around the bottom now. They say they're more patient, hardier, long-lived than horses, and perceived as less obstinate and more intelligent than donkeys. They got the 63 chromosomes and so on. And you know George Washington, of course, he bred mules at Mount Vernon. And they weren't so common in the United States at that time, but Washington understood their value as they were more docile than donkeys and cheap to maintain. Now, I just heard a story about a place out in Kansas, Yoder, Kansas, where there's an Amish community, or there was many years ago, or maybe still is, and there are no mules in that community. And there was a guy there, an Amish guy, he said to his, leader, preacher, whatever, and said, I think I'd like to buy a pair of mules. And he said, you think that'd be okay? And the preacher said, well, he said, ich glaub mir hen genug. Did you get it? Ich glaub mir hen genug, he said. They didn't have any mules in that community. Anyway, I think we have enough. Here we go. Thank you. Give them a round of applause as they leave. You know, mules are very popular. Oh, it's okay, boys. It's okay. Mules are very popular here in Lancaster County. There's nothing new to seeing good pairs of mules and spans of mules working in the fields. And of course, there's always this discussion between the horse guys and the mule guys, and it's ongoing. But mule babies have been selling very well. Now, we have a real treat coming in here next, and it came all the way from Odin, Indiana. I don't know if you've seen it out back here today or not, but it was in the logging area. And it comes from David Knepp down in in Logoti, Indiana, down there in southern Indiana, where Horse Progress. Oh, we got a pair of small mules here first. Okay. Oh, isn't that logging too? Yep. They got some little mules in this logging wagon, and Dave brought these wagons all the way to us here from Montgomery, Indiana. It's a long way off. Here they come. Now, first time I ever saw this wagon was down in Lagodi or in Odin when we had Horse Progress days down there. I don't know how many times ago, but it's been quite a few years. And when they had just finished restoring that wagon, they put tremendous amount of work into that. It's called a Lindsay wagon. Now you can look at that. Well, that's quite a load. Look at those mules pulling up there. They're doing it, but it takes quite a bit of power to move that. Not to mention all those people sitting on top there, but those 3 big logs, that's a load. 14,000 pounds. 17,000 pounds total, Levi tells me. And of course, Levi is really impressed by this because he's quite the mule man in our local community here. And when the discussion came up in our planning meetings, discussed about bringing this logging wagon, and Dave Neff wondered if we'd have 8 mules that could pull it. And boy, we had a quick response from Levi. Yep, we can do that. But the first time they hooked up to this thing, as a matter of fact, more than once, they hooked up down there in Indiana. The horses bent the evener there in the back. They had to replace it before they could actually move the wagon. Like I said, it's a Lindsay wagon. Those 2 out front just stood in the announcer wagon all day. Now, Levi just pointed out that those mules are all pulling more than they weigh. With that combination of 17,000 pounds, they don't each weigh 2,000 pounds. So they're pulling more than they weigh. And as I said, there's a lot of weight on that wagon. And those mules they're not just having a party, they're doing some work. Again, this wagon came all the way from southern Indiana to be with us here at Horse Progress Days. And Dave Nepp and his buddies worked many hours restoring that wagon. It was in really bad shape when they got a hold of it. It's called a Lindsay wagon, and the Lindsay Wagon Company was a very fine wagon company for many years. And it was this fire that put them out of business in 1899. So if that happened in 1899 and they stopped manufacturing, you know that wagon is very old.
I was told they made 60 a month.
Oh, Levi just said that he was told they made as many as 60 of those wagons a month in their peak. Now, good boys. Good. What's that?
Oh.
Okay, they'll be back in here. Well, are you coming back tomorrow, Dave? Yeah? Oh, we're going to do it with horses tomorrow. Is that right? I don't know. You'll have to come back to see. I'm sure about that. Suffolk breed. Rarest of the major draft breeds, and the oldest registry of breeding records in draft horses in the Western world. This breed was developed by farmers in the East Anglia, Suffolk County of England, and the original stud book traces all the horses starting from a chestnut stallion called Crisp's Horse of Ufford, England. They were expressly developed for farm work, and they're called a plow in the furrow horses. Hey, Jason Rutledge himself. Nice to see you, buddy. And historically, let me see, they were, the same farmers that developed the Suffolk sheep, the red poll cattle, foundation breeds for useful livestock developed the Suffolk horse. There were 30,000 Suffolk horses farming in the fields of the most productive land in the British Isles at one point in history, and today there are only 300 in the entire homeland country. Keeping and breeding and showing the Suffolk horse is subsidized in the UK to preserve rare breeds In other words, the government helps pay for it. Due to the purity of the breed, they have remained very true to type. They always breed true to color as chestnut of various shades. And I will tell you, people who have chestnut horses or Suffolk horses are very, very committed to them and like them very much. How about a nice round of applause for the Suffolks tonight? Thank you for bringing them, guys. Next is the Belgian. That's the breed I'm most familiar with, since that's the breed that I've had, although I've owned a few Percherons over the years too. It's an the American Belgian draft is an American breed of draft horses, and it started in Belgium, of course. It derives from the draft horses of Belgium, but as a result of isolation, different selective breeding became genetically distinct, and that's true from the Brabants, Belgians in Belgium in the early part of the 20th century. It's generally taller, less heavily built, has a very different distribution of coat colors. The most usual color is light chestnut or light sorrel with a flaxen mane and tail. Other possible coat colors are bay, black, gray, red bay, or roan. And the American Belgian derives from heavy draft horses of Ardennais, Brabant, Flemish stock imported from Belgium in the latter part of the 19th century and the early years of the 20th. A breed association, the American Association of Importers and Breeders of Belgian Horses, was founded in 1887 in Wabash, Indiana. And of course, from the 1920s on, the American Belgian was bred to be somewhat taller, lighter bodied than the original Europe stock. And there you have a wonderful team, 4 up of Belgian geldings, I believe.
These horses stand about 17 3/2 tall and are used as a working breed, farming 80 acres of corn and alfalfa. They're owned and driven by Elmer Blank, Narvon, PA. And I thought I was going to have a pair of Brabants here this week too, and he canceled out on me. And it kind of disappointed me because I was anxious to see them. I've seen the Brabants before, but just to compare the difference between the breed, how the American Belgian has evolved from the original.
Yeah, it's very interesting to think about and to see. And one of the differences, it's not the entire difference, but one of the main differences in Europe, the government got involved and breed associations got involved in establishing the kind of conformation in the horses that they were looking for, and they bred for a certain kind of a horse that is not as attractive to the American market in many cases, in many ways. Some Americans do like them, and some do really promote them as well. But in the U.S., we have allowed the marketplace much more to determine the kind of horses we raise. In other words, a horse that brings a lot of money is the kind of horse that the breeder is going to breed for. Now here we have, they're driving with this rope and pulley system that's commonly used in the field. I'm sure Elmer uses that just about everywhere he goes. And that's something that was developed here at Horse Progress Days, one of the very first Horse Progress Days, with the help of Floyd Bontrager and his son, who had a professor or a teacher in his school who helped him develop that. And it really, really has become commonly used in with bigger teams of draft horses. And you can see really how well it works here. If you see the rope going from the front trace of the front horse, goes through a pulley to the trace of the back horse, and that pulley is not stationary. So if that front horse slows up, goes back, the nose of the back horse is going to hit him on the rump, and he's going to jump ahead. And you'll notice one of the most wonderful things about this kind of hitching is there's no evener between the front and the back horses. Ordinarily, in the old ways, there would have been an evener in there, and if they stop, it flops down on the hocks and makes a lot of trouble. But this is really a very wonderful way to work horses in the field, too. Thank you for bringing those Belgians out, Elmer, and for driving them so nicely in here this evening. How about a round of applause as they come around the end of the ring there and make their way out. And these horses were working in the fields today, and you can see they're very accustomed to working together. They're listening to each other, that lead team. Hey, buddy, what do you want to do next? Watch their ears. It's a wonderful thing to see. Do we have a Shire? I think we have a team of Shires here this year. This breed was established in the mid-18th century. The origins are much older than that. The Breed Society was formed in 1876, almost the same time as the Belgians here in the U.S. 1878, the first stud book was published, and in the 19th and early centuries, there were large numbers of shires. Many were exported to the United States. The first ones to the United States, 1853, large numbers of horses in the 1880s also, and the American Shire Horse Association established in 1885 to register and promote the breed. So, Percheron, breed of draft horses, originated in the Houston River, Housny River in western France, part of the former Perche province, which the breed takes its name. They're usually gray or black in color. They can turn white too, of course, as they age. They're well muscled, known for their intelligence and willingness to work, and they were probably they were the most popular horses in the late 1800s, early 1900s, before the Belgians started to grow in numbers so strongly. The exact origins are really unknown. The ancestors of the breed were present in this valley and perch by the 17th century. They're believed to descend from war horses. Of course, we heard that over and over. Over time, they began to be used for pulling stagecoaches, later for agriculture, hauling heavy goods. The heavy weight was known to pull up 6 times their own weight, typically weighing in 2,500 pounds, sometimes that heavy. I don't know that any of these are quite that heavy. In the late 18th and 19th centuries, Arabian blood was added to the breed, and exports of Persians from France rose exponentially in the late 1800s. And the first purely Percheron stud book was created in France in 1893. The current U.S. Percheron registry was created in 1934. And in the 1930s, Percherons account for 70%, and I read this before, Joe, of the draft horse population in the United States, but their numbers declined substantially after World War II, as did the numbers of all horses all around the country. Here, this is a spotted draft. Now, this is an American breed. It originated in America, and it's still an American breed. It's a result of breeding certain draft breeds with other acceptable lighter-bodied breeds to obtain the pinto coloring, black and white, brown and white. One of the first recorded spotted draft horses believed to have been the drum horse in the court of Queen Elizabeth. They are a cross horse that should have conformation closely reflecting the draft type it most resembles. And according to the North American Spotted Draft Horse Association, acceptable draft breeds that may be used. Here we have 4 up of brown ones, brown and white. As a foundation or for the spotted draft are Percheron, Belgian, Clydesdale, Suffolk, and Shire. It's a color breed. The Spotted Draft Horse Registry founded in 2015. This is wait a minute. I just found out that's wrong, 1995. But it is the most recent breed founding that we have here at the Horse Progress Days, 1995, not all that long ago. The association is as unique as the horse it represents. They encourage owners of both pedigreed and unpedigreed spotted draft horses to register, thus preserving their lineage and increasing their value. And we have the 12 spotted out there. I don't know, were they all black and white or the brown and white? I hope to be out there tomorrow when we get the four-bottom plow going with these. We've never had spotted horses in the four-bottom plow before, but I understand that's what we've had here this year. Okay, now we're going to see the riders come in. I'm just a little too old to join this crowd, I guess. Sure would be fun. Hey, you're making it a little dusty in here, guys. Coming through. Here they go. Very nice. Oh, that looks like fun. Oh, okay. Can we applaud? Yeah, I think so. All right, look at that. Thanks, guys. There they go. Whoa. Whoa. The exuberance of youth.